Hey guys, this is Ryan from El Topogoloco giving you guys another Jank profile. So today we're bringing you the draft box leader, Son Goku over here, and this is going to be the rainbow version of this deck. The nice thing about this leader and the other draft box leaders is that basically they have every color except for black attached to them. So because of that, you can kind of take advantage of some cards that are very specific to certain color archetypes. And now, I have built like a pretty decent Vegeta build in the past, and it's nice because he always has critical on the front side, but on the back side, he's a really vanilla leader. He just attacks and you draw a card. But the thing that deck always suffered from was hand advantage. So I have seen some recent profiles of people building with this leader, and that kind of made me kind of re-emerge and want to try to build another draft box leader. And the nice thing about this leader, it has two advantages that the other two draft box leaders did not have. One advantage is that it does draw on the front side if it attacks the leader. And the other nice thing is it does untap one and draw one rather than a straight up draw two. The only disadvantage of this leader is you only have critical on the front side if you are playing another draft box leader, at least the last three draft boxes. So if you're playing this Son Goku, the Vegeta, or the Zeno, then it does have critical as well. But that's not a big deal in this version since we're not really playing hand control. We don't really worry too much about the critical. So we are running the rainbow version, so we're running all the colors, including black. And let's just get into the deck profile. So ideally, you want to try to charge a blue for the first one or two turns. And ideally, if you have one of these Bardocks, it's the way to go. So you want to charge this. And your turn one is really not special. Typically, your turn one is you're saving it for defensive pseudo super combo, or even offensive if you want. But typically, I save it for defensive just to make the game go a little bit longer if I need to. So let's go into the Bardock. The Bardock, this skill cannot be negated from any area. This card can't be played from any areas using skills. And if my leader is a blue Saiyan, which it is, when this card is KO'd by an opponent's skill, place this card in your energy from your drop area. So it does have potential ramp, but I feel like I never want to go for the ramp. Instead, I'm just going to charge it. And ideally, turn two, if I have two blue and this guy in the energy, I am evolving it into this Bardock. So he's a double strike blocker who evolves for two blue onto that Bardock from my energy. So when using this card's evolve skill from your hand, you can choose battle cards from your energy and play this card in active mode. So then you just tap the two, play this Bardock. This goes on top of it. And then if my leader is a blue Saiyan, which it is, when this card in your energy evolves into this card, draw one card, and at the end of the turn, switch this card to active mode and place the top card in your deck in your energy in rest mode. So you're not really ramping, but you don't lose the energy by evolving this. But you get, for two blue, you get a double strike blocker that's going to untap and draw a card. And then you get an attack for double strike, and then you get to restand it that next turn. So then you have some defensive options. So those are like your first two turns. You want to charge blue. Typically in the early turns, you want to use these pseudo super combos to dig through your deck and really get these into the drop area. You don't really care what color you charge with his top card of the deck because you are running all four colors, and eventually it's going to help you set up one way or another. The only somewhat disadvantage charge you can really have is the black cards, and so we run two sets of black cards. We run three Strength of Legends and the Vegito Secret Rare, and they run really well with the Rainbow Engine. But we'll get into that in a little bit. But even if you do get them in the energy, it's not terrible because Vegito can reset the energy. Or if you have Vegito in the energy, you can kind of set up your energy with the Zeno. So going to the super combo, if your leader is blue and your life is at 5 or less, and it's your opponent's turn, when this card is used in a combo, you may add one card from your energy to your hand, and if you do, place one card in your hand from your hand in your energy. So basically, you get to untap an energy because you're playing the energy not rested, and typically you want to return a card that is rested. and then you also kind of get a color fix your energy. The nice thing about this, I've seen a lot of people kind of run the rainbow deck with strength of legends and the Vegito, but it was like in the yellow universe 7 Frieza, because that deck runs it has the Warriors of Universe 7 tag to it, and also it draws so much, and I think it has an untap too. But the thing is, since it's yellow, you don't have access to the Zeno, so it's kind of nice that Zeno really can fix your energy in tight spots. Um, let's see what else for the blue package. Just the other staples, Sensu Bean, why not? And then Dimension Magic, probably one of the best negates in the game. So then you got untap 2 blue. So that's why it's usually best to have 2 blue energy for the first few turns, and then you could always fix that energy later if you need to. For the green package, we are running 2 of the pseudo super combos of the cell. We are running 4 of the Demagra. Unisons are just powerful, and most unisons need a very specific color cost. So you don't want to run ones that are like 3 red or 2 blue. They're a little bit harder to kind of get your energy always set up and consistently be able to play it. But Demagra is only 1 green, so it's not too hard to play. If we don't run too many green, we have 4 here, the 4 Friezas, which is one of the best counters. Again, it's just easier to set this Frieza up than it is to set Unison with Trunks. So that's why we went with this package. And the only other ones are the cells. So sometimes like you feel bad about charging these Friezas, but once you get Demagra in play, not only does it help set up for your Goku, if you have a Frieza in hand, it's pretty much active turn 1. And then, oh, sorry about that. It's active turn 1. And then you could always get the Frieza from your energy back if you draw into another Demagra later. If you super combo, and it's kind of nice, you super combo, take the Frieza from your energy, put it back to your hand, put out the Demagra in your hand back into your energy, and then you have another Frieza you could use whenever you want. So it doesn't really feel bad ever charging these. Let's see, we did blue and green. Let's look at the red stuff. So 4 topos. Again, one of the best negates in the game. You need a nice floodgate just in case. It only costs 1 red, and it's going to basically stop your opponent's turns for the most part. And it's easy to combo because it's a 5k. We run a total of the 5 pseudo super combos. Helps you dig through your deck. Easy to get in the drop. Don't mind to charge them. And then instead of running a 4th one, because I didn't want to get too clogged up with pseudo super combos or 10k combos, I went with this Vegeta. I would rather play the Goku, but he's 2 red, and I feel like it's going to be harder to kind of set up your energy with that. With the Vegeta, it's a nice board sweep. It's just a 1-of, but you could always side in more if you want. But it's just a nice board sweep just in case their field gets a little too wide. Gives you some way to kind of clean it up a little bit. For the yellow stuff, we're running 4 draw apes. Easy to get in the drop. You just have to be careful because it's very tempting to always just use them because you typically always warp them from the drop. But you do need 1 in the drop, and you need 1 yellow in your energy. So you just got to be cognitive about when to use them and when to save them for either your secret rare or for your Strength of Legends Goku. And then the other package for yellow is Raiders Warcry. And you guys know this is one of the best cards for yellow. And since our leader is yellow, why not take advantage of it? It's very good offensive for just aggroing. Give another 10k to something, and then you also get a 20 double strike, tap something down, draw a card. Or it's also good on defense as well. Again, I didn't want to get too clogged up with all these 10k combos, and this is a 2-cost 10k combo, so we stuck with just 3 of those. Since we're running 7 mono yellow cards, we need to make sure we charge either one of these guys or one of the apes. And if we run this Vegito Secret Rare, if one's in the drop, we could usually just set that up later. For the only multicolor we're playing, we're just running Almighty Resistance. It works for leaders red, which we are. You need to tap a yellow and a red and discard 1 yellow from your hand, and it's basically a bad ring laser. So the yellows you definitely have to be the most aware of, again, not only for energy and in drop, but sometimes you want to just save 1 in your hand just so you can get this ready for a kill turn. At the very worst, you can use this as your energy. You can use it with Zeno, or you could just charge it on your own turn, but then you're kind of wasting your energy. But on your defensive turn, you could return something back to your hand and put this card in your energy. Unfortunately, because the energy exhaust, it comes in rested, but it might set up your next turn to set up either Strength of Legends or Vegito. Strength of Legends only checks mono color cards in the drop. It doesn't check for mono color cards in the energy. So you could use this as the red or yellow that you might be missing for your energy. And then for the black cards, we're running this secret rare. You could play this as early as turn 1 if you want to, but typically like turn 3 or 4 if you see it. Great. But if you don't see it, it's not the end of the world, but it does really set up this deck nicely. So you can attack if it has 3 or fewer markers on it. It has a +1 effect. Place X number of cards from your energy to the drop. If you do, place X number of cards in your drop into your energy in rest mode. So again, it's just setting up your energy. He's a 25k double strike unison, so he's really hard to kill. And then if you tap one of each of the color energies, you draw 3 cards. It gets plus 15k and triple attack. And then if your opponent can only activate 1 counter skill for 1 more turn or 1 more time this turn. So if you have this guy and maybe a board presence like these apes and these apes, if you activate this right away, like you're basically limiting how many counters they could actually do. So it's good against blue. And then you're getting a bunch of double strike attacks out of it. And then the last one is Strength of Legends. You can only have 1 of this in your play at one time, and you can evolve on it. It's basically a free play. If you have 1 mono red, mono blue, mono green, and mono yellow card in your drop area, and you have 4 more energy, play this card from your hand. So it's a free play. And you really get 3 swings out of it because you want to just swing normally with 35k. It doesn't have anything additional. It's just so you could swing at a battle card if you want to clear their board, or if you just want to swing at their life, you could get them down. But after you swing with it once, you want to use it to activate main. And the activate main could even be relevant in other instances if it gets Crusher Balled or Giant Ball, or if they have like the Cell Surge where you have to like play cards in rest mode. Well, then you can unrest them with activate main by tapping 1 of each color, switch it to active mode, and then it gets critical, double strike, and dual attack for the turn. So you get 2 more swings with double strike crit, and it's a pretty strong guy, so it's really hard to get over. So that is the basic deck profile. I just gave you some side card options, and there's probably some more that I'm missing, but just again trying to take advantage of this leader's multicolor, I guess, identity. We have Broly, leader card's red. If they have 2 open, you get to pick something out of their hands. So again, that might be good for a blue deck. If they're running like something like Cell Surge or some big boss monsters like that are coming out early, like Gotenks, maybe you want to play Mutaito or Mutaido, whatever his name is. Hidden Potential, leader's green, and basically it's a nice counterplay, and you get to untap either a red or a blue or a green energy. Frost Deadly Poison, it's a little bit more costly just because we have to make sure we have the correct energy when we want to use it, but we're going to have multicolors, so getting a blue and a yellow shouldn't be too impossible, and it might help with our yellow count. Same with the Mutaito. This Goku, I said before, is probably better, especially like you can't really Trunks counterplay it because it has deflect, but you do have to make sure you set up 2 red in order to use it. So I'm kind of iffy about this, but it's still an option, and he gets the whole effect, whether it's just play it or the play the 2 red and choose something ignoring barrier. And then if you want to go for more of an aggro matchup, you could play this Vegeta, but the thing is, it's kind of costly, so you're not going to play him until like later game, and I feel like there's better things to do with your energy late game. But that's the deck profile. I played a few games on Untap, and for the most part, it's been doing pretty successful. Again, I gotta say, like, I do put my games with this kind of deck profile as either jank or relaxed, so I haven't really tested against meta decks. But again, this is the jank tank, so I'm not really set to like do anything super meta breaking. but it is competitive enough where it could be a tier 2 or tier 1.5, maybe if I'm being super generous, where it could actually compete against some pretty decent decks. I'm going to show you, I'm not going to show you all of 2 games, but I'm going to just show you a clip of the ending of one of my games. So this was just the very end of this game, and he ended up resigning because I just had board presence and he had no hand. He was doing kind of a cool thing with his deck. It was really just a really controlly deck with Topo, only being able to play one card at a time. But look at the massive field I got with double strikers, even with that. And he was just trying to attack you with this guy, and he had some other combos, but I was able to kind of play around them. But you can see I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 just normal double strikers, and this guy will become basically 3 attacks and 2 of them being double strike crit. So it would be really hard for him to recover, especially since I had a huge hand. So he ended up resigning, and then he didn't want to play again, and then I made a new game, but he ended up joining again. So we're going to watch this gameplay and see how it goes against Yellow Gotenks. And Yellow Gotenks, it's not quite super meta at this moment, but it's still a pretty competitive leader, and I believe he went with the ape version of the deck. So we're just doing our mulligan. So in my opening hand, I do want to keep a pseudo super combo, and the ape's always a good turn 2 play. So I just put everything else back, hoping to get like maybe one of those blue Bardocks. Like I said, I want to try to get those in the energy as soon as possible. That first game that I showed you guys, just that clip of, I think I got like Bardock out like 2 or 3 turns in a row with those apes, just because I kept on getting him in energy and just being able to play him out. So that was really nice. This game didn't look like I opened with him, but I have a pretty decent start. I got one of my one-ofs in here, the Bad Ring Laser like card, and I also got one of my Strength of Legends. So, I mean, as soon as I get the setup, I have my boss monster. So, don't need to worry about life yet. If I take damage, I take damage. And I just charge and pass. Now, Yellow's big thing is, unfortunately, at this moment, Yellow kind of suffers because it doesn't have much board control. I mean, it can control your energy, your opponent's energy, or it can control things going into rest mode, but that might save you for a turn or two. But typically, other than Nimbus, there's not much you can do to defend yourself. And I guess the Zamasu super combo. But if you're not clearing their board, then you're kind of in trouble there. It doesn't really have much board sweeping. So I just use my super combo. I over combo technically, but hey, I need to get a red in energy. I got a free draw, and look, I got that Bardock. So, and look, I got my other one of sets. I got my secret rare. So I got 2 of my boss monsters. Charge my double blue like I typically like to do. And double blue is always nice to have because when you use a dimension magic, you get the most out of it. So I'm going to swing. And then, again, it's not crit, so I get a draw. Got a dimension magic, so if I tap out, it's not a big deal. Because I could always untap if I get my sparking off. Alright, so I just did 10k. I'm going to save that ape defensively. Ideally, I'm going to wait until he has a battle card, but he might just swing with leader and then play a battle card, so I might not get the most out of my ape, but we'll see how that works out. Alright, so I'm just going to take this one, hoping that he like tries to swing with something. If he tries to do something like with one of those one drop 15k criticals, I could always combo out with the ape. So that's kind of why I saved it. But I think he might just pass turn, which kind of is a bummer. Guess he's thinking. Taking his time. Okay, so now he's playing something. All right, so he plays the Unison. So if his leader's yellow, he can look at the top 5 cards for a mono yellow grade ape, and that's what he's going to do. Then it has a -4 if you play up to 2 mono grade apes. It's basically a kind of March of the Great Apes for his -4, similar to it at least. So he's going to look at his top 5, grabs an ape. So I really want to try to get rid of that Unison. Not only will it kind of be annoying because he's going to be tapping my stuff with that free play Vegeta, but once he gets set up with the apes, it's really hard to kind of push through, especially when he gets the big monkey out. So I need to be aware of that too. All right, so I got my Unison, and I have a Frieza in hand. It'd be nice if I could have Demagra on the field and the Frieza, but unfortunately, if I want to play Demagra, I'm going to probably have to charge Frieza. All right, so I swing at his leader just because I want to draw. I'm going to tap my 2 blue, play the ape. He's tapped out, so there's really not much he can do unless he has the Vegeta in hand to tap my ape. All right, so I get a draw off the ape. Try to clear his Unison out. I'm going to play my Unison out. +1 it, make it a 15. And the nice thing is now that I have a Zeno combo, I could always bring that Frieza back to my hand if I need to. So he's going to try to like get rid of that Unison because it gets really annoying. And the nice thing about this Unison is I could play it early, and if they're going to try to swing at it, I'm just going to take the life. And it's just cards in my hands. It's keeping pressure on them to just keep swinging at it. And maybe if I feel like he's not going to attack anymore, I might just take a marker off rather than take the life. So it gives me that option as well. All right, so I charge my red. Got a yellow ape in hand. So now I'm just checking my drop area. I only have a red in there, so I still need to get a blue, yellow, and green in there. I have a Demagra in hand, so I would rather get that in my energy. So eventually, once I get to 5, I'll probably start using my super combo and swap that Demagra for my Frieza. All right, so I'm swinging in with my ape at this point. Um, I'd rather do that before Demigrod, just in case he has a Zamasu super combo. So he's out advantage from me right now with hand size, but I'm still up in life and in energy and also with board presence. So I still feel pretty good, like I'm in the advantage right now. So he minuses my ape, and he's probably gonna arrival the Vegeta, which is kind of trouble for me because if I leave that Vegeta out, then he's gonna evolve it into it the next turn. And if he evolves into it, I'll have the big ape out, and then it's going to be really hard for me to kind of out advantage him because that ape makes all of his apes have barrier, and then also all of his 10Ks basically in his hand are now free. So he's going to have a lot of combo power. And so that large hand might be a little clunky for him right now. But as soon as the big guy comes out, his hand is basically all free. So I haven't swung yet with my unison, and I didn't plus it yet either. So it was good that I didn't just jump for it because I could stack this Demigra and then wipe his board. So that's what I'm doing right now. So stack it. I'm going to use the -3. So it kind of feels a little annoying because I didn't get a swing with my Demigra. I could if I want, but I'm just going to lose hand advantage if I do. And it's not really worth getting him awakened. So if I just minus that, um, I get rid of um, his Vegeta. So kind of wasted his defensive turn. He can't evolve now. And now I got those green in the drop. So now all I need is a yellow in the drop and a yellow in the energy. Nice. So now I'm debating if I want to play the secret rare. Um, I could play it for 3 this turn and plus it and be able to swing for a double strike. The question is, do I want to do that? I mean, he's going to be able to awaken anyway next turn, so we'll see what I do. I think I do play it. Yeah, so I'm tapping those 3. I'm leaving a blue open just because I have a Dimension Magic in hand. I could always free play a Dimension Magic, but I mean, being able to use my Bean or my Dimension Magic without taking life would be nice too. So did that. I'll plus. I don't know if I actually redo anything in my energy because I don't have any yellows in there, and I'm not really setting up for Strength of Legends yet. Looks like I was debating it. So I think I end up just saying, nah, I'm gonna just keep the Dimension Magic. Because oh, maybe I put Demigra. Hmm. I think I might have changed my mind. Yeah, I changed my mind. There was no point putting another green. I was thinking maybe I could put Demigra, then scoop up the Frieza, but there was really no point. Just having 2 blue at this point is still better because I could possibly get an ape out, evolve next turn, or I could even just take advantage of Dimension Magic and Bean. So I didn't do anything with my energy really, but I just got a plus. I got a double strike out of it, either getting him down to 3 or I'm putting pressure and taking cards out of his hand. All right, so now he's down to 3. Again, his hand advantage is way out of reach of mine, but the nice thing is because we got rid of that Vegeta, it's very likely that his hand's very clunky right now. All right, at this point, he might have conceded. So I think So we didn't really get it much further. He conceded this one just like he conceded last one. The last one went a little bit longer, but um, and you guys saw like the setup I had with all those apes. This one, he just felt like there's nothing he can do. At 3 life, his hand's clunky. So I guess he doesn't feel like he could do anything. Next turn, I would have played my ape as energy, um, or even I might have played the Almighty Resistance as energy, and I could always untap it with Bean if I had to, and then combo off my ape from my hand. Then I could actually set up my Strength of Legends. So that's probably what I would have done, but he conceded, so didn't get the full match out of it. But I mean, the deck actually has done pretty well from all the testing I've done. Again, don't expect it to win regionals, but could it topple locals? I think it could if the matchups are right. And it has a lot of utility. I'm sure there's a lot of things you could side deck that are very helpful and useful. Well, that's it for today, guys. Have a good one.